Have you ever noticed how quickly strength seems to slip away after the age of 60? Muscles that once carried you effortlessly up the stairs now fatigue after just a few steps. What many people don't realize is that this isn't simply getting older, it's a process called sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass and strength. And here's the striking truth. Studies show that after 60, we can lose up to 3–5% of our muscle mass each decade if nothing is done. Why does this matter? Because muscle is not just about looking strong, it's your body's metabolic engine, the system that burns calories, regulates blood sugar, maintains balance, and even supports your brain health. In fact, research from Tufts University has shown that low muscle strength is more predictive of early mortality than high blood pressure or even obesity. That means protecting your muscle isn't just about mobility, it's about extending your life and keeping independence intact. Now, here's the surprising part. One of the most effective ways to fight this decline is not locked away in some supplement bottle or expensive therapy. It's something simple, something many of us already start our day with: a cup of coffee. But here's the twist. Coffee alone won't do it. The secret lies in what you add to that cup. A handful of specific nutrients, when combined with coffee's natural metabolic effects, can amplify muscle protein synthesis, the very process your body uses to repair and build muscle fibers. Here's what the research shows. Protein-rich compounds like leucine, certain collagen peptides, and even creatine, when taken with coffee, not only improve muscle retention, but also activate the same cellular pathways that resistance training does. Think of it as giving your muscles a wake-up call every morning, priming them to stay strong, resilient, and metabolically active. In today's video, we'll dive into 6 science-backed strategies, from the amino acid that signals your muscles to grow, to the timing trick that doubles your body's repair response, to the overlooked mineral that seniors often lack but desperately need. Along the way, I'll give you practical tools you can apply starting tomorrow morning. Because here's the truth. After 60, muscle loss is not inevitable. It's a choice, depending on whether you give your body the signals it needs to keep growing, and that choice might start with something as simple as what you stir into your coffee. When we think of protein and muscle, most of us picture eating chicken, fish, or eggs. But here's something that often gets overlooked. Not all protein is created equal. Inside protein are building blocks called amino acids, and among them, one plays a starring role in signaling your muscles to actually grow. That amino acid is leucine. What's happening in your body is fascinating. Every time you eat protein, your digestive system breaks it down into amino acids. Those amino acids then circulate through your bloodstream, waiting for your muscles to decide whether to use them for repair. But for muscles to take action, they need a very specific signal. Like turning a key in an ignition, leucine is that key. Research from the University of Arkansas and other aging studies shows that after the age of 60, our muscles become less responsive to dietary protein. Scientists call this anabolic resistance. In simple terms, your muscles don't hear the grow signal as loudly as they once did. That's one reason why older adults can eat the same foods they ate at 40, but instead of maintaining muscle, they start to lose it. Here's where leucine becomes a game changer. It directly activates a pathway in your muscle cells called M2R, short for mechanistic target of rapamycin. Think of M2R as the master switch for muscle protein synthesis. When leucine levels rise in your blood, M2R flips on and your muscles shift into repair and build mode. Without leucine, that switch may never fully turn on, even if you eat plenty of protein. So, how much leucine do you need? Studies suggest that older adults require about 2.5–3 grams of leucine per meal to maximally stimulate muscle protein synthesis. To put that into perspective, you'd need about a large chicken breast or 3 whole eggs to reach that threshold. But here's the challenge. Many seniors don't eat protein-dense breakfasts. They might have toast, cereal, or just coffee. That's where the idea of adding leucine or leucine-rich protein to your morning coffee becomes powerful. Imagine this. Instead of a plain cup of coffee, you stir in a scoop of whey isolate, naturally high in leucine, or even a leucine-enriched collagen blend. Suddenly that morning ritual isn't just about waking up. It's about sending a biochemical signal to your muscles: stay strong, repair, grow. And there's another benefit. Coffee itself increases circulation and mobilizes fatty acids for energy. When combined with leucine, your body is in a metabolic state that prioritizes using amino acids for repair. It's like giving your muscles a morning alarm clock followed by the fuel they need to rebuild. The simple tool to apply is this. Tomorrow morning, add a whey isolate or leucine-enriched protein powder to your coffee. Aim for one that provides at least 2.5 grams of leucine. If you're not into powders, focus on a leucine-rich side with your coffee, such as cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, or even a couple of eggs. Let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed that after a high-protein breakfast, you feel steadier and stronger throughout the day? That's not just in your head. What's happening in your body is a cascade of biochemical signals that reduce muscle breakdown, improve blood sugar control, and even help your brain function better. By making this small shift, prioritizing leucine in the morning, you're not just adding protein, you're flipping the switch that tells your muscles to stay alive, stay active, and keep you independent well into your later years. When we talk about muscle, most people think only about the fibers that contract and generate force. But there's another part of the system that is just as critical, the scaffold that holds everything together, tendons, ligaments, and connective tissue. Without a strong scaffold, your muscles can't transmit power effectively, and this is where collagen steps in. Collagen is the most abundant protein in your body. It's the glue that maintains the structure of your skin, joints, bones, and connective tissue. But here's the problem. After age 60, our natural collagen production drops sharply. Some studies suggest by as much as 1% per year. That's why skin thins, joints ache, and tendons become more prone to injury. And it's also why even if you're working hard to preserve muscle, you may still feel weaker or more fragile. The framework is deteriorating. Here's what the research shows. Supplementing with collagen peptides can improve muscle mass and strength, especially when combined with resistance training. A landmark study from the University of Freiburg in Germany found that older men who took collagen peptides while exercising gained significantly more muscle mass and strength compared to exercise alone. Why? Because collagen doesn't just rebuild connective tissue, it provides the amino acids like glycine and proline that support muscle recovery as well. Now, where does coffee fit in? Coffee is naturally thermogenic, meaning it slightly raises your metabolic rate and improves circulation. That increased blood flow helps deliver collagen's amino acids to the very tissues that need them most, your tendons, ligaments, and muscles under repair. In other words, coffee is like the delivery truck, while collagen is the building material. Here's a practical way to use this. Stir 10-15 grams of hydrolyzed collagen peptides into your morning coffee. They dissolve easily, are flavorless, and instantly transform your cup into a joint and muscle supporting tonic. Over weeks and months, this habit strengthens the very foundation your muscles rely on to stay functional. Think of it like maintaining a house. The muscle fibers are the walls, but the collagen-based tissues are the beams, bolts, and foundation. You can't have one without the other. Seniors often focus only on protein for muscles, forgetting the structural support system that allows strength to translate into movement without pain. And here's something encouraging. People who consistently take collagen often notice benefits beyond muscle. Many report reduced joint stiffness, improved skin elasticity, and even better recovery from exercise. That's not vanity, that's biology. When your connective tissues are healthier, your whole system performs better. So tomorrow morning as you drink your coffee, ask yourself, is this cup just caffeine, or could it be a dose of building blocks that make me stronger, steadier, and more resilient? Adding collagen is a small action, but over time it's like reinforcing the scaffolding of your body so it can carry you gracefully into the decades ahead. CTA, if this insight is opening your eyes, consider subscribing to the channel. Every week we bring you practical science-backed strategies just like this, designed to keep your mind and body strong at any age. When most people hear creatine, they think of young athletes and bodybuilders. But here's the truth. Creatine may be one of the most important nutrients for adults over 60, not just for muscle, but for your brain. Here's what the science shows. Creatine is stored in your muscles and brain as phosphocreatine, a rapid energy reserve. Whenever you need short bursts of power, whether that's lifting a heavy grocery bag, standing up from a chair, or even forming a quick memory, creatine donates a phosphate group to regenerate ATP, your body's energy currency. Without enough creatine, those everyday movements feel harder and your brain literally runs with less energy. In fact, research from McMaster University and other clinical studies show that older adults who supplement with creatine gain significant increases in muscle strength and endurance, even without intensive exercise. And here's the part many people don't realize: creatine also protects your cognitive function. Studies in older adults reveal improvements in working memory, processing speed, and even resistance to mental fatigue when creatine levels are higher. That means creatine doesn't just help you move stronger, it helps you think clearer. Now, let's add coffee to the mix. Caffeine and creatine have often been viewed as separate tools: caffeine for alertness, creatine for strength. But when used together in the right way, they're complementary. Caffeine stimulates your central nervous system, improving reaction time and circulation. Creatine supplies the raw energy to your cells. Think of it as combining the accelerator and the fuel tank in your car. Caffeine presses the gas pedal. Creatine makes sure there's fuel to respond. The question is, how do you use it practically? A simple protocol is to stir 3-5 grams of creatine monohydrate into your morning coffee. Creatine is flavorless and dissolves easily, so it won't change the taste. Taken consistently, this maintains your muscle stores and ensures your brain has a steady backup of energy. If plain coffee isn't your thing, you can mix it into a latte or protein shake. Let me ask you, have you ever noticed that mornings where you feel mentally sharp often overlap with days your body also feels strong? That's because your brain and muscle systems are not separate. They're both dependent on energy availability. Creatine helps bridge that gap. And here's a motivating fact: creatine supplementation has even been studied in conditions like Parkinson's and depression, with evidence suggesting neuroprotective effects. That means by simply adding it to your morning coffee, you're not only protecting your muscles from age-related decline, you're also giving your brain a resilience advantage against cognitive decline. So the next time you sip your coffee, imagine this: instead of just waking up your senses with caffeine, you're fueling both your muscles and your mind with the extra spark they need to thrive past 60. That's not bodybuilding, that's life building. Up to this point, we've talked about protein and amino acids, the direct building blocks of muscle. But here's something most people miss. Even if you're eating enough protein, your body cannot effectively use it without certain micronutrients acting as co-pilots. Two of the most overlooked are vitamin D and magnesium. Let's start with vitamin D. Most people know it as the sunshine vitamin, important for bone health. But here's what research shows: vitamin D is also a master regulator of muscle function. In fact, deficiency has been strongly linked to muscle weakness, impaired balance, and a higher risk of falls in older adults. A large meta-analysis published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism confirmed that seniors with higher vitamin D levels preserved more muscle strength and coordination compared to those who were deficient. It acts almost like a conductor, helping your muscles contract efficiently and protecting the fibers from degeneration. Now pair that with magnesium. This mineral is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body, and one of its most important roles is regulating how your muscles and nerves communicate. Magnesium allows calcium to flow in and out of your muscle cells, the very process that makes contraction and relaxation possible. Without enough magnesium, muscles cramp more easily, recovery slows down, and fatigue sets in faster. Here's the problem. Studies suggest that nearly 70% of adults over 60 are deficient in magnesium, largely because modern diets lack whole foods like nuts, seeds, and leafy greens. Combine that with widespread vitamin D deficiency from limited sun exposure, and you have a hidden recipe for accelerated muscle loss and weakness. So where does coffee come in? Coffee itself is mildly diuretic, which means if you drink it regularly without replenishing minerals, you may actually increase your risk of magnesium depletion. But if you intentionally pair your coffee with magnesium-rich foods or supplements, you can turn coffee into an opportunity to deliver these key nutrients. For example, having your morning coffee with a handful of almonds, pumpkin seeds, or even a magnesium-fortified supplement transforms a simple routine into a muscle-supporting ritual. A simple tool: aim for 2,000 IU of vitamin D daily, or as advised by your doctor, since testing levels is best, and about 300-400 milligrams of magnesium. Whether you take them with your morning coffee or as part of breakfast, consistency is what matters most. Think about it this way: leucine flips the muscle building switch, collagen rebuilds the scaffolding, creatine fuels the engine, but without vitamin D and magnesium, the wiring doesn't connect properly. Your body needs these silent enablers to make the whole system work. And here's a motivating truth. By correcting these deficiencies, you're not only preserving muscle, but also protecting your bones, heart rhythm, and even your mood. Magnesium calms the nervous system. Vitamin D sharpens immune defenses. Together, they create the environment where strength isn't just built, it's sustained. CTA, if you're finding these strategies practical and empowering, hit that subscribe button. Each week, we dive into tools just like this, grounded in science, to help you stay strong, independent, and full of vitality. We've talked about what to put into your coffee: leucine, collagen, creatine, vitamin D, magnesium. But here's something just as important when you give your body these signals, because timing isn't just convenience, it's biology. Your body runs on a 24-hour cycle called the circadian rhythm. Every system, from your hormones to your metabolism to your muscle repair, follows this clock. And research shows that the first half of the day is when your body is most primed for anabolic activity, meaning growth and repair. Here's why. In the morning, cortisol, your natural wake-up hormone, peaks. Cortisol often gets a bad reputation, but in the right amounts, it helps mobilize energy and get amino acids into your bloodstream. If you combine that with a leucine-rich protein and supportive nutrients, you're essentially stacking signals that tell your muscles now is the time to build. On the other hand, if you skip breakfast or just drink plain coffee, your body may enter a mild catabolic state, breaking down muscle tissue for energy. That's why many older adults who eat light or delay protein until dinner unknowingly accelerate muscle loss. One landmark study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that spreading protein evenly across meals, especially emphasizing breakfast, resulted in significantly more muscle protein synthesis compared to eating the same total protein but loading it all at night. In other words, it's not just what you eat, but when. So here's a simple tool. Treat your morning coffee as an anabolic window. Add protein, collagen, creatine, or nutrients within an hour of waking up. This not only primes your muscles for the day, but also stabilizes blood sugar, sharpens focus, and reduces mid-morning fatigue. If you're someone who prefers intermittent fasting, you can still shift your feeding window earlier in the day to align with your natural circadian rhythm. Let me ask you, have you noticed that on mornings when you eat a protein-rich breakfast, your energy seems more stable and you don't crash in the afternoon? That's not coincidence. What's happening in your body is a symphony of hormonal and metabolic cues working in your favor. Think of it this way. Your body is like a construction crew. In the morning, the workers are on site, ready to go with fresh tools. If you deliver the building materials, protein, and key nutrients, right then progress happens. If you wait until evening, the crew is tired, the tools are put away, and the opportunity is lost. By aligning your nutrition with your body's natural rhythms, you're not forcing muscle growth, you're working with your biology. And the result is not just more strength, but less fatigue, better coordination, and greater resilience over time. CTA. If you're seeing the value in these strategies, give this video a like. It helps this community grow and allows more people to discover life-changing science just like this. So far, we've focused on nutrients, leucine, collagen, creatine, vitamin D, magnesium, and the timing that maximizes their effect. But here's the truth. Nutrients alone are only half the story. To truly reverse muscle loss after 60, you need to pair what you put in your body with what you do with your body. That's where movement comes in. Think of it this way. Nutrients are the raw materials, the bricks and mortar. Movement is the signal that tells your body where to put them. Without movement, the body has little reason to direct amino acids or minerals toward muscle repair. With movement, you're essentially writing a note to your biology that says, build here, strengthen this. Now, why combine movement with morning coffee? Coffee has been shown to increase blood flow, boost alertness, and mobilize fatty acids for energy. When you add even light resistance exercise within an hour of that morning coffee cocktail, you create a perfect storm for muscle growth and preservation. Caffeine primes your nervous system, nutrients provide the fuel, and movement applies the stress that forces adaptation. And here's the good news. This doesn't mean you need to hit the gym for an hour. Research published in the Journals of Gerontology shows that even 10-15 minutes of resistance band training or bodyweight exercise significantly improves muscle protein synthesis in older adults. The key is consistency and progression, challenging your muscles just enough to remind them they're still needed. A simple protocol might look like this. Enjoy your fortified morning coffee, Then do a short routine, 2 sets of squats holding onto a chair, some banded rows, light push-ups against the wall, or even calf raises at the kitchen counter. These movements target major muscle groups, activate balanced pathways, and reinforce the very independence that muscle loss threatens to take away. Have you ever noticed that after just a few minutes of movement in the morning, the whole day feels different? Your energy is steadier, your mood is lighter, and even your focus sharpens. That's because movement triggers endorphins, stimulates blood flow to the brain, and sets your metabolic rate higher for the rest of the day. Think of your morning ritual like this. Coffee provides the ignition, nutrients provide the fuel, and movement turns the key. All three together transform a simple daily habit into a muscle-preserving protocol, one that keeps you strong, sharp, and confident in your body. The beautiful part is that this is scalable. If you're starting from scratch, 5 minutes of movement is enough. If you're already active, you can build on this by adding resistance training, walking, or even yoga after your morning coffee. What matters is the synergy, coffee, nutrients, and movement reinforcing each other to reverse muscle loss. By stacking these habits, you're no longer just drinking coffee. You're sending a daily message to your body. I am still strong. I am still building. I am not done yet. We begin with a simple but powerful truth. After the age of 60, muscle loss is not just common, it's expected, unless you actively fight it. Sarcopenia can quietly rob you of strength, balance, and independence. But as we've seen today, the body is remarkably responsive when you give it the right signals. Here is what the research shows. Leucine flips the switch that tells your muscles to grow. Collagen rebuilds the scaffolding that keeps joints and connective tissue strong. Creatine fuels both muscle and brain, giving you the energy to move and think with clarity. Vitamin D and magnesium act as silent enablers, allowing muscle fibers to contract, recover, and resist breakdown. Timing matters. Feeding your body these tools in the morning aligns with your circadian rhythm and doubles the impact. And when you layer in movement after that nutrient-rich coffee, you multiply the effect, turning a daily ritual into a lifelong preservation plan. The takeaway is simple. Reversing muscle loss after 60 doesn't require extreme programs or expensive interventions. It starts with something as ordinary as your morning coffee, transformed into a ritual of resilience. Add the right nutrients, align with your body's natural rhythms, and follow it with even light movement. Small actions stacked consistently create extraordinary change. Here's my challenge to you tomorrow morning. Make one upgrade. Stir collagen or whey into your coffee, or add a handful of magnesium-rich seeds alongside it. Then spend 5 minutes moving, squats by your chair, band pulls, or a brisk walk around the block. Feel the difference not just in your body, but in your confidence. Because each time you choose strength, you're investing in years of independence, vitality, and mental clarity. If this message resonated with you, I invite you to join this community. Like this video, leave a comment sharing which step you'll try first, and subscribe so you never miss the science-backed tools that can change your life. Together, we're building more than muscle. We're building a future of strength, health, and dignity at every age.